Today on The Young and the Restless, Kane works to convince Daniel to reconcile with Phyllis, Red sets off alarms for Billy, and Nick resurfaces after going off the grid. On the Kane train, Ashby tries to convince Daniel that Phyllis will reverse course if he and Summer were back in her life. Daniel's not buying it. Kane insists Red is heartbroken and needs her kids' forgiveness. Correctly sensing an agenda, Daniel guesses Kane wants him to forgive his mother, so she'll give Newman back and Victor will release Lily. Ashby argues if all she has Newman, she'll never let it go. Daniel rants about his mother's power trip and Kane insists something shifted when they disowned her. Daniel all but rolls his eyes and is outraged when Ashby claims she feels abandoned. Kane's sure if Daniel forgives her, she'll do the right thing. Daniel's unconvinced, but Kane persists. Phyllis didn't see anything but the brass ring she was reaching for and didn't realize how ostracized she would become. He knows because he did the same thing. When everyone, including your family, turns their back on you, it hurts. Ashby urges Daniel to talk to her for himself. At the ranch, Victoria warns her parents that Nick was planning vigilante justice. Suddenly, he walks in, declaring that he went off the radar so they couldn't talk him out of his plan. He flew out to LA in search of Matt Clark, but he's gone completely underground. Nikki fusses that Nick could have landed himself in jail. Victoria agrees. Victor and Nick feel this is the calm before the coming storm, but they don't know when it will hit. Nick asks for an update on the company and learns Phyllis is firing people who are too loyal to them. Victor announces he has a new, stronger plan he'll enact soon. Nikki, having learned nothing, demands to know the details of his plan. Victor assures it has nothing to do with Lily, but is a plan he should have used from the beginning. Sally traipses out of Billy's bedroom and looks at the fading "I love you" on her hand. When Billy appears, he senses she's having second thoughts about getting back together. She's fully committed, on the condition that he's not lying to her again. Billy vows never to lie to her, and his fingers aren't even crossed behind his back. Sally admits the fading ink on her hand was a sign this wouldn't last. Billy offers to tattoo it on. They kiss and declare their love. Billy blathers on about business and then claims Sally makes him want to be his best self. It sure looked like it when he was screaming at her. Sally hated how ugly things got between them, but never stopped loving him. Billy takes responsibility for their falling out. More kissing until Phyllis rings the doorbell and calls out. Once she's in the living room, Phyllis tells Billy there's a snag in the Chancellor contract. Billy argues there were no red flags. Phyllis rambles about the lawyers. He hopes this isn't a stall tactic, reminding her she owns the company. Is she stabbing him in the back? Billy demands reassurances, and Phyllis calls him paranoid. He squints as she walks out the door and tells Sally this isn't good news for him. He calls Jack and leaves him a message asking for advice. Next, he gets a text from Victor summoning him to the ranch. At Crimson Lights, Sharon tells Tessa that she wants Maria to see Aria, but she said she's not ready. Tessa thinks that would be confusing for the kid. Daniel arrives and he and Tessa adjourn to the patio. Nick appears next, and Sharon hugs him. She and Noah have been worried sick. He updates her that Matt has vanished into thin air. He could be hiding in plain sight. On the patio, Daniel's asking Tessa's advice. She asks what he has to lose by trying with his mother. He points out he could make the same argument about Maria. Phyllis' next stop is the Kane train, where Ashby fills her in on his talk with Daniel, who is on the fence. Ashby admits he may need help from a third party. Phyllis says Tessa can help. At Crimson Lights, Sharon and Nick speculate on Matt's whereabouts until he gets a text from Clark. Sharon reads it. Sorry I missed you in LA on the patio. Tessa tells Daniel she's not sure what she would do if Maria asked for another chance. She's fought as hard as she can and has to be ready to let her go. Switching gears back to Phyllis. Daniel thinks his tough love may have had the opposite effect he intended. Tessa asks if he's ready to give her another chance. On the Kane train, Phyllis tells him that if he's going to go to Tessa for help, he'd better get on it. She can't hold Billy off forever. Kane warns if Billy signs the contract, he'll have no leverage with Victor. Phyllis replies, "I know, Kane, tick-tock." Ashby asks for 24 hours. At the ranch, Victor intones, "Send him in." Billy appears and needles the Black Knight about having control of Chancellor. Victor assures it will be back in his hands by the end of the business day.